You're very welcome back to the show. Now today we're talking about hair. Yes, dye it, cut it, curl it, extend it, straighten it. We all have our own hair care routine, but what happens when we begin to see less strands on our head and notice more of our hair actually going down the drain? Well, never fear. My guest today is trichologist, aka hair and scalp expert. Please welcome Carol Johnson to the show. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. How did you get interested in this field in the first place?
Well, I think all women are interested in their hair. Me, particularly after having my children, noticing a change in my hair, and I was already working in a hair loss clinic then, so I wanted to study trichology.
Yeah.
So it's a specialised area, dermatology,
yeah.
Study the hair and scalp, and be able to help other people.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of women, men obviously, the androgenetic alopecia, and children.
Yeah. Androgenetic alopecia, that's basically when a woman has too much testosterone in her system, is that right? Or something to that effect?
Where testosterone is influencing their hair.
Yeah.
So where the female hormones have depleted.
Yeah, exactly. So that happens a lot as women go older as well,
exactly.
doesn't it?
Perimenopause, post-menopause.
Pregnancy now, I think you experienced that yourself during pregnancy.
Yeah,
how normal is that to happen? Because a lot of our viewers might be sitting at home now experiencing that.
Very normal.
Yeah.
And then to couple with that, because I'm vegetarian, after I had my daughter, for example, I wasn't really taking care of myself. I'm taking care of her, obviously, as all new mothers do, and not managing my iron stores. And then obviously your menstruation is kicking back in and you're having more loss. My ferritin levels dropped. So that was a postpartum effluvium. That'd be quite normal. Now, a lot of people would experience telogen effluvium.
What does that mean now?
Anagen effluvium. Telogen is where somebody's hair is just massively shedding and they don't know why.
Yeah.
And it is always physiological or psychological stress.
Yeah.
So it can be a deficiency.
Talk to me about stress, first of all. We'll go to the more medical reasons in a while, but any time I've gone to, because my hair has been falling in and out intermittently for years, I've had thyroid problems, etc., and so forth.
Thyroid
I've been taking supplements and that. But how big of an issue is actual mental stress to your hair? Why is that?
Why? Because stress is... stress are hormones.
Yeah.
So we don't always think of them as hormones. We think of female and male hormones. But cortisol, prolactin, adrenaline, they're all hormones. Yeah. And if your body is excreting them from your endocrine system, it's looking for a place to discard them. And your hair is a ideal dumping site. It's a superficial wrapping. It does nothing for you except give you 2% warmth.
Yeah.
So your body is going to choose that rather than your internal organs, which makes wonderful sense if you think of your body as a kind of the robotic way that it thinks, the hierarchy of itself. But for your hair, it's awful. Yeah. Because it's immediately removing your hair out of the anagen phase of growth. Yeah. And the body is really focusing on the internal, the important things.
So it's the superfluous things like the hair and the nails and things like that aren't
superficial.
Yeah, they aren't necessary. So that's why your hair would be the first to suffer symptomatically if you have stress, which is very, 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 very concerning, really.
It is.
You need to manage
and your blood
stress.
drops from your pivotal crown into the cavity of the body. The body is really just, again,
trying to get all the organs.
I don't care about you. I'm not going to vasodilate you and circulate the blood into you. So you'll find that your hair will just really go asleep or fall chronically.
Because I suppose hair growth has 3 different cycles, and if your hair falls out and the other cycles aren't pushing along through, then you're going to experience that, which is very traumatic, I'm sure, for a lot of your clients.
Awful. People that I see, their self-esteem can be extremely low. I met a lady recently who doesn't want to go, not that she doesn't want to go, as she looks, she doesn't want to go to her daughter's wedding, because her hair is so thin and falling, and she's in alopecia, in alopecia areata. And the more she stresses, the worse it gets.
So
I think people aren't doing enough to manage stress, particularly. That's the big driver in all hair loss.
That would be the biggest driver in hair loss.
It's an accelerator,
Wow. And what about other major causes of hair loss? What damage are we doing to our own hair ourselves?
Okay. Damage, physically. Okay, you did mention the thyroid, and that is one.
We'll move on to the hormones shortly.
Hair extensions, straighteners, dry shampoo, congealing the scalp, not allowing it to respire. It needs to breathe. It's the same mantle of flesh, same epidermis. You wouldn't dream of getting up in the morning and not cleaning off your makeup and putting more over it.
Yeah.
So the pores are not breathing, they're clogged. Powders, pomades, not taking care of her hair and just constantly plugging something in instead of having a day where you say...
Bleaching your hair and stuff like that.
Bleach, obviously.
So if you maybe have highlights in your hair and you have extensions and you maybe use dry shampoo in your hair every day and use straighteners or curling products in your hair every day and you have a thyroid problem, you're kind of goosed.
Well, you're not really, because...
I'm just looking. I have my hair over that way at the moment because I have a few patches on the other side that I'm like...
hair.
No, it's not mine. It's actually extensions because I've had to, because I found it's thinning quite a lot. And I mean, you might think, people say, oh, Elaine's hair is grand, but you notice, especially under lights, that it's thinning and thinning and thinning. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And when do you know that, for example, it's a problem, that's something you should go and see somebody about?
When you've said what you've just said.
Yeah.
Because it's personal to you, isn't it? And I said to your researcher who rang me earlier, I had an elderly couple with me recently enough, we'll say in the last 2 years, and the wife was saying that her hair was thinning and her husband was saying, I don't know why we're here, we shouldn't be here, you're perfect, there's nothing the matter. And she said, I know, because when I put in my curlers, I used to put in 7 and now I put in 5.
Yeah.
So that's enough, because that's impacting on that woman. She knows something's happening.
Yeah.
So you may not have the fullest head of hair as you get older if you have genetic predisposition in that regard, right? But you can do a lot to help save your hair and keep it.
Like what?
Hair loss prevention. Well, HRT, terrible press, okay? And obviously if you've breast cancer in your family, it's something to be avoided. But there are...
Not necessarily to be avoided now. I'm an ambassador for Breast Cancer Ireland. And
yes, I noticed that,
you have to actually... I mean, there's a lot of scaremongering going on about HRT. I myself am on HRT, and I wouldn't be on it if I didn't think it was safe, to be quite honest.
The estrogen is very helpful to your hair.
But sometimes you do need that, and you have to wait. A glass of wine a night is more dangerous than HRT. So, and being overweight is more dangerous than HRT, because I think there's a lot of scaremongering when it comes to that. But it does help with the estrogen. It does help with the hormones.
But you can get naturals. If some people don't want to take something, you can go natural route. You can go saw palmetto, which stops the testosterone binding to the hair follicle.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a DHT blocker.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing. Red clover is estrogenic. They're natural things.
Yeah.
You can take them. You can get low-level laser treatment.
Yeah.
And you look at your blood, regularly looking at your blood to see your ferritin, your thyroid, your B12, all of these things impact upon your hair, your
Because your hormones, your whole hormones and your minerals.
And vitamin D,
intake.
Ireland, we don't get a lot of that, and that's essential as well. So.
Yeah. You mentioned as well that that sometimes when it comes to it's hormones, it can be androgens, which sometimes testosterone. Now, there's not the same stigma associated with male hair loss as there is with female hair loss. I know men get very upset about it.
Not as much as women, I would think. They may do, but they don't express it.
Yeah, but it's intrinsically very... It's almost like robbing our femininity if we have no hair.
Self-esteem.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why is it getting worse?
The woman that I meet who has alopecia totalis.
What is alopecia totalis?
Universalis. Totalis is where an alopecia areata has extended down. So it's involving the eyebrows and the eyelashes.
What's the cause of that? Do we know yet?
Alopecia, always a stress of some type. So if I was to sit down and write a book about all the people that I've met as a trichologist with alopecia, and they'll say, I don't know what caused it, we'll eventually find something.
Yeah.
It can be a death of somebody, an anxiousness about something, that their thyroid wasn't working and they were worrying about themselves. But a lot of the time... the trigger is a stress.
Because some people after
anemia,
a death or a trauma or something very upsetting in their life, their hair will start to literally shred after a few weeks.
I saw it in myself. My mother passed away 2 years ago, almost, and it really, I remember looking in the mirror 6 months later and going, where's all my hair gone? And I work in the place, I do the thing. I'm a bad mascot. But when you are working in the place and doing the thing, you're focusing on other people all the time, not yourself.
Yeah.
And I then could feel how my people who come to see me feel.
Yeah.
And I could see my plug hole in my bathroom.
Yeah, all
the hair.
Literally, you're doing the hoovering and it's full of your own hair going, what the hell's going on?
And seeing the dermal papilla. So how do you describe that? When you see a hair falling and it has a little white fleck at the end. So we shouldn't see it with the naked eye.
Really?
Not that often, no, because that's a hair that's moving prematurely.
Yeah.
So they should be blocked 4 millimetres
So sometimes
down.
it's like your skin or your hair goes into shock.
Yeah.
No more blood is going here. It's not needed anywhere else. It's needed somewhere. Boom, the hair gone.
Exactly.
What are the more practical steps people can... Is there any...
At home.
At home, yes.
Right. Protein, which is what your hair is. Eat it. Don't eat fake protein. Eat real protein.
Yeah.
If you're a vegetarian, manage your iron stores well. If you're going through weight loss and you're changing your diet, take a good multivitamin, something that's going to give you a bit of back the nutrients and the micronutrients you need. Don't assault your hair. We do it all the time, constantly. I use that word now because it's what I view, what you plug into the wall, there are salts on the hair shaft.
Yeah.
Right, medium setting on the hairdryer, straightening irons, awful.
Yeah.
They really are. Your hair is growing between 6 and 8 years in your entire life. Right, so it
doesn't need
a
that
weird
abuse.
way of thinking.
Yeah.
The longevity of human beings,
Yeah.
how long you have to take care of it.
Yeah.
Friction, avoid it. Don't do this, washing your hair. Leave it in its natural fall when you're shampooing. Don't rush over the sink. Massage.
Yeah.
Out, blot your hair. And a silk pillowcase.
What
They're not
difference
terribly
does that make?
expensive. Well, silk is protein, so again, you're reducing friction on the outer cuticle of your hair.
Yeah.
And the brush that you use.
Really? That makes a difference?
It does.
That whole wives' tale of brushing her hair 100 times, I thought that was like
No,
to stimulate scalp growth, or scalp blood
Well,
to your scalp.
you're drawing the blood, but what the implement you use, if you're going to use something that's nylon or plastic and your hair is already dry from colouring and processing, you're cutting into the cuticle. So it's like anything, isn't it? It's like a brush you might use for circulation on your face. One that's really soft is better.
Yeah, so
or
do
bristle.
it with just a gentle massage, with a natural
and you
bristle.
break the strokes from the pivotal crown, the bones, the parietal skull, hold down. And you can do that because you're not creating traction.
Yeah. Okay. How do people get in contact with you now if they're identifying with you and saying, my God, I need to do something about this?
I work in Universal Hair and Scalp Clinic.
Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, yeah, we have it on universalhairclinic.ie. And I suppose the main factor, as you said, if you feel yourself that your hair is thinning, that's when it's time to maybe do something.
It is. But I think the message for me today is that people slow down, have a bit of time to leave the phone there, relax, reduce stress. It impacts positively when you do that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Lovely.
Thank you very much for coming on the show today. Now time for a quick break, but when we come back, if you've decided to escape the mistletoe and holly then instead spend Christmas Day on the beach this year, stay tuned. Our novel traveller Michelle joins us after the break.